All right, what's up, guys? Making sure everything is streaming on my side. It looks like it's going good. I'm trying to watch the dashboard over there because I am on new internet and my upload speed is not as good as it used to be, which is a very sad thing. I'll talk about in a minute. But we did reach over 50 followers now, so we can work towards getting affiliate, which is exciting. What happened was that happened right as I was in the transition of moving, and so that's why the internet speed is different because we had to move to a new location. And so, um, at any rate, let me just start off by saying this is Turtle Talks. Welcome to my show. This is my vlog where I talk about whatever it is that comes to my mind. Sometimes it's topical, sometimes it's about video games, sometimes it's about anime. It could be anything. It is just kind of a place for me to ramble on and express my opinions. And I haven't actually done any of these live. I always have kind of an end of my show thing where I end up kind of just rambling for a little bit. Not I say always, but I a lot of times have that go on. But this is actually meant to be that, and this is what I was doing back several years back on YouTube. Because I did not have the upload speed to do live footage and do live video for you guys. So there was a lot more vlogging and stuff because I could record it and then just upload it. Upload, if it takes a while, is fine for YouTube, but for Twitch and stuff, it's different. Now, moving on. Welcome to the show. Moving on. Yeah, I got to 50 followers just recently, and I've been trying to get that for a while on Twitch, and it's taken a while because I don't really like promoting my channel on the social media stuff myself. I wish I had someone else who just really loved my stuff that would just go share it. And I always hope for viewers that do watch my stuff to go and share it or post it or something. I haven't had much luck with that, but I did start hanging out in some chat room or some Twitch streams rather, and chatting and stuff with some communities, and then mentioning like, yeah, I'm trying to grow my channel, and then some of them actually have been very helpful, and I can't say thanks enough to the channels that did that. Azealia is one of the ones that she linked my chat in her chat, and I got like 6 followers that night. And she's a streamer that does a lot of City Skylines, so I watched her stuff because I was streaming City Skylines, and so big thanks to her. And then there's been a few others. We'll just leave it to one per stream of this, so I don't have to shout out everyone at once, but it's been very helpful to have a community like City Skylines streamers where you can, you're going in, you're interacting, you're making jokes and whatever, and then you get to, they ask you questions like, what are you doing, how are you doing, and they realize that you're you're a streamer and you're doing stuff, and then they shout out your channel, and that's great. I wish there was more games that had that positive vibe to it, as the City Skylines community has had. Like League of Legends never had that. Like you go into League of Legends streaming and like you get shit on for being subpar. Like you can be doing pretty good and still be told that you're total trash. So some games are just a lot better for growing a channel, and League of Legends was never one for me. So we did kind of move on from doing League of Legends streams because I barely play it anymore. And I only want to play it when I'm playing with friends. When I play solo, it is so just toxic, and like I don't like dealing with those toxic players that make me go in that mindset of like I want to strangle someone. Like I don't want to be that guy who's just mad all the time at a video game. I want to play games to relax and chill and have fun. And so that's why I think it's fun to be able to play like City Skylines. I'd like to get back into maybe Terraria or something. I kind of need like a partner to do that because I feel like that game is better with friends, right? You need at least one friend, maybe more, so you can kind of do everything in Terraria. There's other games that I'd like to play, like Dauntless and stuff, but I'm just not. I think it's out now, or at least it's open beta now. I don't know. That game had me so hyped for so long that it was gonna be a fun game, and I was like, oh man, it's gonna be like a Monster Hunter game that's actually made for like America, because like most of the Monster Hunter games are only like a Japanese thing, and like then the last Monster Hunter World or whatever came out, I watched a bunch of streams of that, and I was like, these games they look like they'd be fun on the surface, but once I start watching them, I'm like, this is pretty boring. So I don't know, maybe Monster Hunter kind of ruined Dauntless for me because it came out just before Dauntless ever did. Dauntless had this like big window of like alpha and beta that was closed, and so I don't know. I don't know. It never happened. It also I think it's just the timing for Dauntless going open was like right as I was getting ready for this big move, and so the timing has been wrong. Now the move that happened, um, we went from Bakersfield to Monterey Bay, which in my life, Bakersfield was great for the friends that I had. I loved a lot of the people that I hung out with there. But man, it was too hot. I could never do anything. I couldn't wear, a hoodie or whatever ever. Like there was like a couple, short weeks in the winter where like it was comfortable to wear a hoodie around and stuff. But like most of the time, it was like it was too hot. I'm sweating. I'm like dying in Bakersfield. But since I've been in Monterey, I mean, it's summertime now. It's June. It's like the 26th. So there's been some times where I'm like, whoa, it's kind of cold. I got the window open and I'm like, I'm in here shivering at my desk. So yeah, it's different and it's nice because I spent a lot of my younger years living in Alaska, and I am much more used to cold weather than I am to warmth. So when it came to like living in California, I didn't have a choice in it when I moved down here. It was because there's a motorcycle going by. I didn't have a choice when I moved down here. Like the price of everything on my own was too high. I couldn't afford living in Alaska anymore, and I had um bad girlfriend experience, and I had bad roommate experience, and then I had living on people's couches experience after, one after another, man. It was really like being 18 years old and stuff, not having any experience and stuff in Alaska was pretty hard. So I ended up like calling mom and being like, "Hey, I just don't think I can make it here on my own anymore." My dad had like moved on and like he'd moved from Alaska to Montana, so I didn't have him even as a safety net anymore. Um and that was, like we didn't really get along, but if I needed something, he would have made sure I didn't die kind of thing. So having him move away made it like now I have nobody and it's too expensive. Milk was like $8 a gallon or something at some point. Um, and it was just too expensive to live. I don't think rent was that bad compared to like here. Like the rent's crazy here. But other than that, like just how much money I was making at like $7 an hour back then was minimum wage, like 7.15 or something. I just couldn't make it. So I ended up calling mom, saying, "Hey, I needed to like live closer, move in, whatever." And that was a really tricky situation to be in because she wasn't doing uh, you know, super well yet. She was still trying to like live near her mom, my grandma, so trying to like just make like a family as a community kind of thing, and we were trying to just make it at that point. Thing like the economy was just real bad for us and our family in like the 2004, 5, 6 era. And things got better. My mom ended up getting she stuck with that job for a long time, and then is now like a manager at a store, so or assistant manager, like second in charge basically. But so it's good now. So there was a long process for that to happen, right? But where we're at now, I've been trying to grow the channel. I've been trying to get the followers thing was a big thing, big hurdle to reach, just because I don't want to have to like promote myself, and I don't know, I just don't know where to promote myself. Partly, I mean, there's a couple like Facebook groups that I've joined, and some of those help. And then I'm checking the stream over there's freezing, so maybe I've got the bitrate a little bit off. There's been a couple groups that I've got where I can promote it and stuff, and I've gotten a couple views from those. Most of them I don't get too much though. So I don't know, maybe I need to find some bigger, more popular groups. Maybe I need to just post more on Reddit. I really wish I had friends that were super into like just promoting people and would just get into that. And I've always said like I need like a girlfriend who would be like a manager, who would be like, here's a video published, blah 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 blah, and just post stuff, for me. Or a girlfriend that would be into editing. That would be amazing. Like a girlfriend who was just into video editing and loved that kind of stuff, or even just graphic design stuff, so she could do like the thing at the top of the screen here. I'm trying to move the mouse, but you can't see it, so never mind. Like the Turtle Talks thing at the top. Like I could get some cool, just fonts and graphic stuff. And that'd be cool. And I've kind of done a lot of this stuff that I'm saying, like the graphic design and video editing on my own. But at the end of the day, I'm not that good at it. You know, I have like some ideas, but then I can't always put like brain to like paper. You know, I just can't like pen to paper. Like it sounds great in my mind. Like the things that I want to do sound like, oh, I could do that. You know, and I watch some tutorials and I see other people do it. And I'm like, I think I could do this. And then when I start trying to do, it, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to like learn a little bit better. And some things I've stuck with. Some things I've kind of just fallen away from. And like one thing I got into a long time ago, like probably 2003, was music, right? And I wanted to DJ, and then I wanted to like make experimental electronica, and I did that for probably 4 or 5 years, where like that was my goal. And I made like 104, 105 songs somewhere in there. And you know, most of them are total garbage. I will admit, most of them are real bad. But I was only going to make experimental electronica, so it's kind of okay to make garbage because it's experimental, right? So some of it was me trying to learn how other songs made, you know, a wave, how other songs made. I think some of the end of my music making was when dubstep was first coming out. I was like trying to figure out how like the oscillation and stuff happens, right? And so some of it was me just trying to learn how others did it. And then, you know, once I kind of learned what they did or how they did it in a different song that I liked, then I was like, okay, I know how to do that now. I've got like a basic grasp of that, and then I kind of just move on. And I never really mastered anything, you know. So I ended up giving up on music. It turned out to not seem to be something that could be profitable for me. Then I got into like what was after that? I don't know, just graphic design. I was trying to do like video game level design and like Counter-Strike Source for a while. Oh, I wanted to do add-ons in WoW, but like that also was not a profitable thing. Like it was very clear that like Blizzard is like, if you make money off this, you're kind of a douche. So like Blizzard was kind of putting the foot down. Like I don't know if you guys remember Carbonite Maps. It was kind of like a GPS in the game for WoW, right? There was like, here's where the quests are, and you need to go here and kill the bears and get their bear butts. And then like there was like a GPS arrow on the screen that would be like, you need to go this way, you need to go that way, you need to go this way. So you know, at Fishtail, you know, it was like a rudder of a ship. It just steered you to where you needed to go, and then like you could kind of pull up the map. They kind of took that whole idea, Blizzard did, and put it in their game themselves, but they kind of put it in really crappy. So, I mean, questing back then, I hate questing, but questing back then in WoW, like it was like I kind of want to make something that makes things easier, you know. And I was like, I understood a bit of the code, but I never really like. I got through a couple tutorials, like the Hello World tutorial, where you make an add-on, then you load up the game, and it says "Pop Hello World," and you click OK, and that's it. Like I got that far into you know, making stuff, and I was like, then the Carbonite thing happened, and I was like, this is never gonna be a job for me. It'd look good on a resume that, hey, I made this add-on, blah blah blah, if I go to another company, but I'd never be able to just do it from home. Well, I probably could do it from home, but I'd never be able to do it from home like I wanted to in my first impression of that job. So I moved on, you know. And then I got into level design in Counter-Strike Source. I think I quit WoW, and then I got into level design, and I was like, okay, I think I can do, you know, I can put my imagination to use here, and that was really fun. Like I made a couple different. If you played Counter Strike at all, the smaller maps for like gun game, I made a couple maps they're really small, close quarters. You know, almost mirrored on the other side, so it's very balanced. And then boom, you just spawn in some spawn points, and then you know ramps and boxes and stuff. And I made a couple that look pretty decent, I think. And then I made a couple that look kind of jank and crap. I also had a couple of my first ones that were just like, you know, things didn't like line up, right? Like there was, if you're looking at like the floor or the wall above the floor, it just didn't like actually connect because I just didn't know how to get everything fine tuned to where it like actually lined up. So you'd see like light coming through under the cracks and stuff. And that was, you know, that was like like I had a lot of inspiration from the Labyrinth. I wanted to have like upside down stairways and stuff going, you know, like you could go through a kind of a maze and then go through a, you know, up a stairs, but then you got stairs upside down above. And I wanted to do that, but that was a terrible idea because it was too much for a beginner. It was way too much for me at the time. I did make some other levels that were like kind of just snowy hills and stuff, and I wanted to do water stuff, but water was always super janky in that game. Like you could almost guarantee like the first time you booted up a map that you added like a water texture to, it was just not going to work. And then you could try and fix it and try and get it just perfect so that there's nothing like a box, right, that surrounds the water. You could try and make sure that the water edges didn't go through it or anything, and then it might work. But like almost always the first try was like it was guaranteed bugged or broken. And so I don't know, that was tricky stuff. But I made a couple snow levels that I really liked, and I love snow levels. I grew up in Alaska. I'm used to that kind of environment. So like just having like the stairways and then kind of an archway over something and some boxes in a corner to kind of duck behind was really fun for me in Counter-Strike Source. But it just it wasn't something that also was, again, it turned out in my mind being something I could profit from and do. But there's not a lot of games that actually like encourage that level of detail and that level of making for a game, just maps and stuff. So it's like when I got into Call of Duty somewhere after that, and I was doing like kind of local tournaments and trying to just like play with like people at LAN parties and stuff. And I could beat most of the people. There was always some younger kid that's like 12 that would just beat you like every time, and you're just like, how is he so fast? But aside from that, like I had a lot of fun doing that. But then like Call of Duty is not a game where they want you to make maps. Like they very much are on the model of, we make a map, you pay $15 for this pack, and then in 4 months you do it again, and then in 4 months you do it again, or 3 months and then you do it again. I don't know how many, four times a year you do it again. So like their games are always built on, we made the same game, we made slightly different maps, and we made slightly different recolored maps. Like the one, there was a couple that were just like, there was like the normal version, and then there was like the candy cane striped version. It's like, what? Like why did they make the same map but just like recolor it? Like I always felt like, man, I have more of an imagination to make crazy designs and stuff, and Call of Duty makes these like, there's left or right or center, and that's it maps. And the spawn's always flipping. It always bugged me that like they don't want people in the community to just make them more maps, because I feel like their game would do so much better. But they're like, no, we can make the money, you can suck it. So yeah, I kind of moved on from that too. And then I don't know, I got into League, and I saw a lot of streamers and stuff taking off between League and Hearthstone, and somewhere in there Minecraft came out, and I thought Minecraft would be really cool, but I never wanted to stream it really myself. The game kept making, Minecraft specifically, the game always would, I'd get to this point where I'd be trying to build like mine carts and stuff that goes fast, and there's this like pulling effect that they do when you run or when you get on the mine carts, that it just, after just a little while, it makes me so motion sick. And I don't normally get motion sick from games, but in Minecraft, that game totally just, I don't know if it's just the level of detail that you're looking at the pixels so close, or like what it is, but that blurring effect on top of just trying to like flying around in Minecraft, like something about it disorients my body real bad, and it makes me just like, I have to take a break. And so I never actually made any videos of it. And then there's been a long time where I didn't play Minecraft, and I like it, but I never got into it more than just a little bit here and there. But I was like, I was watching other channels take off on YouTube and being like, why can't I do this? Why, like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not one of these channels? Because I've had a YouTube channel since 2006. I've had a YouTube channel for a long time, and I remember putting up some crappy videos of boss runs in Burning Crusade and WoW. Okay, so just think of that. That's been a long time. I put up some anime music videos before that were like Final Fantasy people fighting, and then Linkin Park in the end, like everybody else probably. I actually don't think I ever did in the end, because everyone else was doing that in the anime music video scene in YouTube early YouTube days. But I definitely had like ABBA Dancing Queen was one of the songs that I had that I think finally got taken down from copyright claims, enough copyright claims that it was like shut down. But I had a lot of stuff that didn't really ever take off, and then I had some Diablo videos that I made just a couple, like my ideas of a build, and those got like tons of views, and I was like, wow, okay. Like 4,000 something views, one of them got really quick. Like I kept going on and being like, whoa, it's got more views. It's got more. like every day I was refreshing the page. I was like, it's got like 50 views right now. You know, like from the time I got to the page and refreshed it again. So I was like, man, maybe Diablo videos are what I need to do. And I made just a couple of those because I've never, like, I don't know, Diablo fell off. Like somewhere after the real life money market thing went away, and then I don't know, it like people hated it because of that when it started, and then like they hated it because then it was gone, and then there's the RNG on top of RNG where like you just can't like farm a boss to get a thing most of the time. You have to go and just kill everything, and then I don't know, it seemed like people kind of just fell away from it and then went to whatever that other game is. I don't even know what it's called now. I'm drawing a blank. They went to other games. They went to Torchlight was one of them, and then they went to whatever the one is now that everyone plays. And everyone loves that game, and I don't like it. So that's like that other game is just not for me. Path of Exile, that's the one. Got it. It finally came to me. Path of Exile just never really felt like a game for me. And I know a lot of people really like it, but I think it gives them the Diablo 2 vibe. And I didn't play Diablo 1 or 2. I only played Diablo 3. Stream is lagging over there, so I might have the bit rates a bit off. I'm sorry, I apologize. But they just didn't offer a faster internet connection for upload speed here, so just trying to see if that catches up. I think it's caught up. But yeah, so I never played Diablo 1. I never played Diablo 2. I had friends back in the day that played those, but I was still back. That was, you know, this was in high school. I was still in like Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and 9 on PlayStation 1. Like those were my jam. And then Tony Hawk Pro Skater and like a few other games like that. And then I think somewhere right after that I got like a GameCube, and I loved Smash Brothers and Soul Calibur, and oh yeah, there was like Tekken and stuff on PlayStation. I don't know if there was a Tekken on GameCube. There might have been. But I love those games, you know, because the GameCube was great because the GameCube was like the system that I always felt was the best at like sitting on a couch just playing games with friends, and like can't tell you how many like New Year's Eve late night super crazy gaming parties we had with friends my like junior and senior year, you know, and then even like after I'd graduated or after I was done with school, that going to those parties with some of the same friends that were a year or two behind me. So you know, those were the days, man. And I don't know, I mean, this is like 2003, 4, 5, so this is like right before I ended up coming down to California, and I just didn't really get into console games after that. I got a PC in 2006 and got into WoW and got into Counter-Strike after that, and then the Call of Duty scenes and stuff. But I was always trying to play. I always wanted to play Call of Duty on PC, but nobody does. So that was another thing that always like irked me, was like Call of Duty. I always wanted to get into it, but I was on the lesser of the, not consoles, but the lesser of the, you know, whatever versions. I don't even know what to like why is the PC version so crap, you know? Like why does nobody like the PC version of Call? It's a shooter game. It makes more sense with the mouse and keyboard to me. But yeah, so that happened. Then we got into yeah, what I'm trying to think what after that. What after Call of Duty? I don't even know. I mean, League of Legends mostly. And then I jump back into WoW now every now and then. Like I was like, at that point I was like, I'm never gonna get back into WoW. But then I don't know, something always draws me back. And right now they just had like a free weekend I played. I'm like I kind of want to play some more WoW. Like Legion was a fairly good expansion. I think I missed. So I quit in Kata, and then I missed all of Pandaria and Draenor, and I thought Pandaria was just a joke when they announced it. I saw stuff about it. I was like, that's dumb. I'm never going back to that. Going back and playing through it like just to level up a couple of characters. I mean, it was thematically pretty, but like it seemed like it was a joke. Like it seems like they were just like, we need something and we want to break away from Warcraft 3 story. So how about, or Warcraft 1, 2, 3, all three of them. I guess they wanted to break away from that, and they did. And did their own thing. And then Draenor seemed like kind of like what I went through of it, just leveling, was like they're nuking the story to go with the movie that came out or something, or maybe Legion was to go with the movie. I'm not really sure where the timeline is for those two, or like those two expansions and that movie that came out. I liked the movie. I went and seen it with friends, and I was like, haha, I get some of the jokes, like it, you know, it only works on weak-minded people and it only lasts about a minute for the sheep thing. That was funny, and I was like, you know, if you played WoW back in the day, you get that joke. And there was a few other things that was like, ha 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 ha. I get it. Where like if you did not play the games, you probably were like, huh? But I mean, I went with a friend who never played WoW or Warcraft or any of those games, and he was like, man, that was like a good fantasy movie. He was like, that was like, I was like Lord of the Rings, but like better CGI and stuff, and actually some action and stuff. Because like the first Lord of the Rings movie, there's like nothing, right? There's like Gandalf doesn't even use magic in those movies, really. Like you have to go back to the Hobbit movies that come out later to get Gandalf like just lighting his pipe with a little fire from his fingers, you know. And but the Warcraft movie was just like Kalima, like there's like stuff coming out of Gul'dan's hands and just the fell everywhere and purple stuff, and then like it was a pretty good movie, I think. Um. Anyways, I need a drink. Hold on. Trying to be careful when I pick that water bottle up because earlier I grabbed it and it was just like and squirted everywhere, and I was like, "Whoops, mistakes!" And I had to go clean it up. I was like about to start the stream. I was gonna get a drink before I started, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to clean that mess up." It wasn't bad, but it was like enough on my desk that I don't want it, to mess up the desk. But yeah, moving on. Yeah. So then I've been playing City Skylines for a while, right? That's been like one of my casual games to get away from like League of Legends. Um, and I got into playing it after watching Imperial Jedi or Flux Trance or whatever that guy's name is. What is that guy's name? The guy that does like the Fluxenberg cities and stuff. He does some crazy, amazing like on ramp, off ramp, crazy highway interchange stuff, and like time lapses them. And they're great videos to watch on YouTube. But I was like, wow, this is like really like this made SimCity look like garbage. Like the SimCity that came out, SimCity 5 or whatever, when they'd like, I think they even dropped the name. They were just like SimCity. But that game was like, it looked like it was going to be good, but then they're like, oh, you can make a map that's like tiny, and that's it. And I didn't like the way that it played watching streams of it, so I never even bothered getting it. I stuck with SimCity 4 for a little while as kind of a casual game to go to every now and then. Like when the internet was out, I'd be like, I'm gonna play some SimCity. But then City Skylines comes out, and I was like, you know what? This game is like actually, it's got the workshop on Steam going for it, where like you can go get add-on kind of content that's made by the community, and like you can get some really good stuff. And so I got into City Skylines just because it seemed like it had the modding community that like Counter-Strike Source and stuff had. That like creative mindset going, from the community, like wanting to make maps and stuff, which I think like it expands the longevity of a game like that, where like one, the creativeness is the thing that makes people want to play it, but two, like being able to put like real world things into it, and being able to put sci-fi looking things into it, and being able to put whatever like you can imagine into it, makes those games a lot better. So I feel like City Skylines really did like it just came out and like was kind of a good game, and like I look forward to more. Like they keep coming out with DLC. Like some of them are hit or miss, good or bad. Like Green Cities, I don't know, haven't used too much of the stuff in that. But like After Dark, I like the After Dark. The Snowfall one, I like the Snowfall one when it came out. I was like, oh cool, snow maps. But a lot of people don't like watching or playing the Snowfall because it's like a lot of white, really bright, and it's a bit much to watch on a stream. I think it doesn't look as beautiful as just a regular city in City Skylines. So there's that. Um, yeah, but I still think it's fun, and then the community for it is a lot better. Like there's just a lot of people that want to support you as a channel or you as a streamer. So City Skylines has been pretty good. I want to do some more streams for that. We will get back into doing some streams for that. Now, where things went wrong just recently for me, I had a hard drive that died about a month ago. Maybe a little over a month ago now. 5-6 weeks ago. And so it was a backup hard drive, and I was like, okay, well, I lost a little bit of stuff that hadn't been backed up between the two 4 terabyte hard drives that I had. Not as big a deal, but I was like, okay, whatever. I'll get a new hard drive, in a month or something, and I'll back everything up again, which was a mistake. I probably should have bought one instantly and just made sure I had, at least a 2. But then we move here, and during the move, just the first time I hooked up the computer here, I was so heartbroken because I was like, why isn't Steam starting? What? And I went to this PC thing, and I was like, click, click. Oh, I only see my SSD. There's no hard drive here. then I was like, okay, I gotta turn off the computer real quick, check cables, and so far I couldn't find anything. So I guess just the move from Bakersfield to Monterey, the shaking whatever in the U-Haul was enough to just kill that hard drive. And I don't think it was that old. The other one that was in there that died a month and something ago, that one was probably like 3 years old, and I kind of expected it to die, which is why everything was backed up on the other hard drive. But like, you don't expect to have two hard drives die in such a short amount of time, so I did lose some like pictures and stuff, which it's a little heartbreaking to lose some of the pictures of like younger me in high school and stuff. I think almost all of them are somewhere backed up between MySpace, Facebook, or Photo Bucket or something. Like, I'm pretty sure most of those are somewhere. There is a few pictures of like, I don't know, just pictures of girlfriends and stuff that don't talk to me anymore that are gone in a personal folder. Not a big deal. Not like, I mean, it's not nudes or anything, so it's not like it's anything I'm gonna be like, oh man, I'm gonna miss those. It's just, just a couple pictures from like when we dated and whatnot. So some of them are pictures of me with a girl, some of them are pictures of just a girl. So some of those are just kind of sad to lose, but like, I don't know. I mean, some of them go back as far as high school exes and stuff. So it's a little sad. And then yeah, some of them are like when I was in trade school, and some of them are after that. But like that, that kind of stuff does happen, and I should have had a better backup, and I should have backed up before I moved. I probably should have got an external hard drive to keep everything on, or thumb drive or something. And I've got a lot of stuff I've got on thumb drives anyway, so why not? I've got a couple of like for my TV that's like sitting behind me, it's not up yet. But for that TV, I have a little thing that's it's called a Mica Spec. It's like the weird Chinese brand or whatever, where you just plug in a USB and it plays whatever's on the USB, and it plays video or music. So I've got that thing, and it's got 120 gigabyte chip on it. I should have put backups of some of the stuff like photos and stuff on there. So it's kind of my own bad. Feels bad, man. But that kind of stuff just kind of happens, and the timing was what really caught me off guard, because the last one had just died. This one was a lot newer hard drive, and so the one that just died was replacing another hard drive that had died sometime before that. I think it was only like a 2 terabyte hard drive that got replaced. So, so having two 4 terabyte hard drives sucked. I had to go buy a new one. The other thing that sucked about having the hard drive die was I had a lot of my game save files, so a lot of my City Skyline cities and stuff are just gone. A couple of my Terraria worlds are gone. Characters and stuff that were on some of those games are gone. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, it was my secondary hard drive, so it's where I was putting like most of the bigger Steam games that come out now, because SSD is just not like SSD is just not big enough, yet. Like, the technology is nice, but it's not a big enough hard drive to keep like these giant 50 gig games and stuff, right? I had the same problem when I first bought my Xbox. Like, the Xbox comes with a 500 gig hard drive, and I filled that thing up in no time. I had to go buy a 4 terabyte external hard drive for the Xbox, which that hard drive's not full, but the external hard drive's not full, but the other one is like packed, and I ended up having to take a bunch of stuff off of it off the external or internal. Who's messaging me? I had to take stuff off the internal drive just because it was so full. I'm gonna mute this. You guys don't have to hear that again. Power Ranger theme. Someone messaged me on Facebook. Anyways, but yeah, I could have backed stuff up onto the Xbox hard drive before I moved here, but I just figured I'll do it after I get here, And then when I got here, the first big project was to build a desk, and I've wanted to have a bigger desk. I had my desk before. It's multi-tiered. There's the first level, and then there's like the upper level that the monitors sit on. But it's always been 48 inches across, and then it's like 22 or something deep on the bigger surface, and then like 10 on the top surface where the monitors sit. Now, I was like, I can make this bigger, better, do it myself. I've wanted to do it for a long time, but I have like a bad wood allergy where like just going into like Home Depot or Best Buy like just chokes me up, and I'm just like, I can't breathe. I need an inhaler just to go breathe after going to one of those kind of stores. So Like just going and getting the wood cut at Home Depot this time, I was like, I gotta take allergy pills before I go, and then I'm like, I'm dying, I'm itching, I'm like, my throat is dying, I can't, I need water. Like it was bad. But I was like, I have to do this project because I just want this desk big enough that I can stream and stuff. And now I found out after you make the desk, I made it only a foot longer. It's 5 foot long instead of 4 foot long. Okay, so it went from 48 inches to 60 inches wide. It went a little bit farther back, just because I had to buy a big piece of plywood and I had to get it cut at Home Depot. So I was like, just make it this much, this much by this much, bam, bam, bam. I had a dude cut it up for me. There's sawdust everywhere, but by the time I was getting out of there, I was like, yeah, it was bad. Had to go take some more allergy pills, and it takes just a couple days to just get it out of my system. Where like when I'm going to sleep, my feet are just like feels like something's like brushing against my foot, right? And it's the worst feeling. Like it causes a lot of insomnia for me because I'll be laying there, I'm like something just touched me, and like you go from almost falling asleep, that like that almost REM state, and then something touched you and you're like, I'm awake. And it's caused me a lot of really bad insomnia in the past because I didn't know what was going on, and like pollen season, anytime they're shaking the almond trees and stuff, because Bakersfield was a very big agricultural place. There's a lot of almond trees, there's a lot of other trees and stuff that they do stuff with, and because of my whatever weird wood tree allergy, like that stuff would trigger my body being like, something's wrong, and it sucks. And I've dealt with this since I was like 16, but like the older you get, the more you're like, okay, this is causing an issue. This is a thing that's bugging my the sensitivity of my foot, when I'm trying to sleep and stuff. And you just didn't realize that was an issue before. And it's pretty weird. But when I got here to Monterey, I was like, I am building this desk. Like this is like first goal before I even set up the computer, before I even found out that the hard drive was messed up. I was like, I'm going to go buy some plywood, I'm going to go buy some planks and get everything, and I had to size it out right, and I got pretty close. The measurements that I got, I think I did a pretty good job. The only thing, there's like the one corner of this desk that sits it's a little tweaked to where it sits a little higher, which is fine because then things don't roll off my desk. They roll into the desk, which is fine with me. But it's because of the way there's a backsplash plate behind. Like there's the two top pieces, right? And then back behind there's a piece that goes the other way. Whatever, the other way. It goes, it's back. It's like I could rest my feet on it basically. That plate, just that board, the way that we screwed it in, kind of, I don't know, lifted the corner of the desk. That's the only thing I really got off. And so as far as I'm concerned, I did a pretty good job. And then I got to pick my own color paint, so I went with Eskimo blue. I was looking through the swatches, I was like, this is not going to take me very long to find the right color blue because I'm looking for like this kind of color, right? And it's not quite. It's a lighter shade of this color, but I was looking for like that, like ice blue, glacial blue. I was like, something that sounds like it's like Alaskan. That's what I want, right? And I need a drink. Just trying to imitate and thinking about all that wood makes my throat itch. But yeah, I was like, I want something that's like the ice color. I want the Iceman kind of color. And like my official colors are like this blue where the YouTube link is, and then kind of the top of the Turtle Talks color. The green kind of fades. I just like the gradient on this text, but yeah, like that kind of blue, that's actually pretty close to what the desk color is if it was in like the right lighting. Like the lighting in here is like there's a purple light and two blue lights, right? So they're a little bit different. And I could actually have like the window open so you could have like realistic lighting in here, but it's way too bright, okay? So I've got the window covered, and you guys can see like the back of the window seal over here. But so like, yeah, first project, desk, gotta get it done, gotta get it out of the way. That took a lot longer than I thought. Just like going down, measuring it was pretty easy, but then going down and getting it cut and then trying to get the pieces back in, like the car that we have is tiny. So had to get some help, had to get my aunt with an Ford Explorer to get like, so we could get the bigger pieces. The big pieces just didn't quite fit in the car. I think they would have fit, but like we were worried that they wouldn't, and we didn't want to be there and have the pieces and then just be like, out of luck, can't take them home. So yeah, we had to wait for like, my aunt came up like that Friday to bring us some more stuff from Bakersfield, and so she was a big help. She got us got me to Best Buy or Home Depot. Why do I keep? I always think like Best Buy because I'm a computer guy and I don't go to Home Depot for nothing. But I'm I felt every time I try and tell the story to someone, I'm like, yeah, I went to Home Depot. Wait, I went to Best Buy. And I'm like, no, Home Depot, the one with the wood stuff, not the one with computer stuff. But yeah, went to Home Depot, got the pieces cut, went to the paint guy and was like, I was trying to figure out what paint would be the best, and he said like a thick glossy enamel, because I wanted the wood to be covered so I don't have to worry about like allergy issues, right? Like as long as wood is covered, like I don't have to worry about. I'm like I got cut on my finger here. I'm gonna peel the skin off that. Yeah. So distracted. Sorry. As long as there's like something laminate or something over the wood, I'm fine, right? As long as I'm not like eating the wood, I'm fine. Um, there shouldn't be any sawdust or anything around. I'll be fine. So it's okay to have a wood desk as long as I paint it and put a nice thick coat on it. But I was like telling the dude at the paint section, I was like, dude, I don't like, I'm gonna have this as a desk. I'm gonna have my wrist resting on it. I don't want it to like rub off or whatever. And he was like trying to tell me like which. He's like, first you gotta prime it because it's gonna suck up a lot of the paint first. And I was like, yeah, I get that. Like I know. And so he got me like the best primer that they had, which I figured this was like the one time project. Sorry. Oh, I figured this is like the one time project that I'm gonna do for the desk. So I'm gonna spend just a little bit extra on the paints and the primer and stuff. So I did go a little bit more. The more pricey paints of the brands that they had, I was just like, whatever. I want like the thickest, glossiest paint, and I think like I probably could do another coat on it now that it's had like time to dry. I did 3 coats on the top. You can still tell it's wood. You can still tell it's plywood. There's a couple of spots where there's some knots in the wood, but like for the most part, like I'm pretty proud of how this turned out, and it looks pretty good, you know. So I'm happy to get this project done, right? Then I set up the computer and find out the hard drive's dead. Boom, you know. Now I'm like waiting for like a hard drive to come in the mail. Luckily, it came real quick. And then I was like, okay, now that I've got that, I gotta like start putting Steam to work. Steam, download my games, go. And like, it it turns out we got actually a faster download speed. We just couldn't get the upload speed in this area. I don't know what it is about internet providers. When you call them up and you're like, hey, I need fast internet for upload, they're like, well, we have this download speed. I'm like, well, what's the upload speed? They have no idea. They're like, well, you can go to our website and you can see all of our stuff and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, I looked at your website, but it doesn't say anything about the upload speed. And they're like, well, you know, and so they don't want to tell you nothing. And I was like, look, I'm trying to upload for like YouTube and Twitch. And they're like, what's that? Nah. So I don't know who I was talking to. They didn't know nothing about the internet. Like, why do you work in an internet store if you don't know anything? Like, why are you the tech support for big internet company? Like, there's like we have Comcast now. We used to have Spectrum. Used to be whatever Spectrum was before a year ago, and but we had to switch to Comcast now. Which, as far as I can tell, it's about the same. They both suck, but what are you gonna do? Because there's only 2 companies, and it turned out when we got Spectrum before whatever it was before Time Warner in Bakersfield, there was no Spectrum or whatever, or there was no not Spectrum. There was no Comcast in that area, and there was like AT&T or like a Yahoo one. I was like, why would anyone go with Yahoo? They're like at that point, I was like, even back then, I was like, Yahoo's dead, right? Like I thought they died. Like they were a '90s company, but they didn't really carry into the 2000s at all. So I was like, who would get Yahoo as their internet provider? But so we ended up with what became Spectrum, and we had that for a lot of years. And you know, for better or worse, it slowly got to where they were like, we don't provide the old speed that you have, so here's the newer speed. We don't have that speed anymore, so here's the newer speed. To where finally we got to where an upload where I could actually stream and stuff. And then we moved here and it was like, okay, we only provide a 5 megabyte upload. So I get about 6 megabyte upload speed on Comcast, man. But it's, you know, it's half of what we were getting before. We're getting almost 12 on Spectrum. So it kind of sucks for the upload speed. So, I mean, I am going to have to go through this video and watch the VOD and see like how many frame drops I got. And like, according to this thing, I'm not dropping anything. Am I? Maybe I'm dropping a bit. Okay, I'm dropping quite a bit actually. But I'm gonna have to figure out where the sweet spot is, and I may have to get faster internet because this is just not enough for me. But they didn't offer anything other than this speed was like their starting promotion or whatever. And it's like, well, we're a first time customer with you, but like we wanted to get Spectrum and Transfer up here, but they're like, nope, we don't do that in that area. Sorry. It's like, what? I started trying to find a map of it on like Google, and like it literally just doesn't cover the area we're at, but it covers other parts. Why? I don't understand. Like, who let this monopoly thing get so out of hand between these two companies, like to where they still have a monopoly? Like, could be because they just don't provide to certain areas to make sure that the other one can like squelch out whatever, and they get. It's so dumb. And like, obviously, the one here, like the Spectrum here, was a different Spectrum than the Spectrum we had, because we had like when it was Time Warner, it was Bright House in Bakersfield, but up here it's Charter. So like they buy out whatever the small company is, and they provide the internet, right? But so it's a big company owning a small local company. Such a terrible system, guys. It's like so bad for the consumer. It's not. I mean, it's probably great for them because they can be like, yeah, we only have to provide this much because the other competitor won't even give it in this area. Ha ha ha! And they just laugh all the way to the bank. And we're like, well, I need faster internet. I need steady, stable, fast uploading internet. Good luck finding it, at a reasonable price. It's just not going to happen. As an amateur who's not making money on this yet, like I'm up to the point where I can start working towards affiliate now, but I'm not there yet. Like I'm not making money to be like, I need to put more money into this to make more money. Like, obviously, if I become like a Twitch partner or something, then I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm spending some of that Twitch partner money to get faster internet. But as an amateur affiliate not making any money yet, hard to really justify that when like we moved up here and the price of rent and stuff is like double what we paid in Bakersfield. Like we were paying $1,000 for a 4-bedroom, and now we're paying $1,825 for a 2-bedroom. And so the difference is ridiculous. All right, that is like the most startling thing, right? Going from like a place where everything was big and open, and like my room here is bigger. Like you guys can't see me, my bed's over there. My bed used to always be behind me in the other room because I was a smaller room. But the rest of our apartment down there in Bakersfield was really big. We had a big open dining room, living room, and kitchen was all really open. And here it's like, here's a closet, and that's your bathroom. Huh? Like I can't. Like the downstairs bathroom in this place is literally a toilet that you can wash your hands at, the sink. I was like, I can't. I can't. I was like, I'm gonna get claustrophobic in this bathroom. Like I'm gonna freak out. Like you can't. Like your elbows are like rubbing the wall, both sides when you sit at the toilet. You're just like, I'm touching the wall. It's terrible. But yeah, there's nothing you can do because that's just how everything's built here. Like in these like coastal little tiny towns. Like I don't know what. Like the parking and stuff is terrible too because like there's so many streets and so many places to go to. There's no parking at any of them. So it's like, here's a 27-minute parking spot. Here's a 27-minute parking spot. And here's a 2-hour parking spot if you go to the right spot. You're like, ooh, 2 hours. I can stay here for the whole time I'm eating instead of having to go move my car every time I get the check, or order something and get a drink. I gotta go run the car out. Hold on, BRB. It's a totally weird experience living in such a small town like this. That's like, clearly it's a small town compared to where we were. But it's a bigger town than where I ever lived in Alaska. Well, I don't want to say where I ever lived because I lived in Fairbanks, and Fairbanks was kind of big, but Fairbanks was really open and big, big Midland, and then like Valdez was like a small, right on the water, a small town of like 4,000 population. This is got to be like, I don't know, 10,000 or something in Monterey. I have no idea really. I need to like Google this stuff before I start talking. But I feel like this is a bigger town. It's actually got stoplights and stuff. And when I lived in Valdez, there was like stop signs, and there was one blinking light on the highway that went out of town because there was a crossroad that went to a bar, and people would just run that highway all the time. So there was a blinking stop sign. That was the only light on the streets that I can remember when I lived in Alaska in that small town. So coming here, it's like everything's just traffic crazy, and like it's a bit different. It's a lot similarities. There's like a lot of similarities between this and where I lived in Alaska, and just the feel of it and the community of it and stuff. But like then there's like, it's a tourist town, and it's really busy. And like I lived in a tourist town, so I get that. I get what that's like. Summertime, like all of a sudden, boom, your population grows a lot. But right now, like we got here right in the beginning of mid of June, actually, like the 11th, 12th. I think we got here the 12th. We're supposed to get here the 11th. We kept getting delayed. But like when that happens, you have, just so many tourists and so much stuff going on that it's really busy. And like it's still like I look outside, I'm like, man, there's a lot of cars just parked everywhere because there's no parking on so like the two roads next to ours, it's all timed or no parking zones. Like there's like 27 minutes or 2 hour parking spots. And then our street is the first one where there's like no time limit, so people come and park up here and then walk everywhere. So like our street's super busy just because people park here all day long, and then like the nighttime they all take off, but they go home or they go wherever, you know. But so our street's super super busy and congested all the time, and it's like it's bumper to bumper parking on the street, and like they have to have it all marked off really well, or like people will take up more than their allotted space if they could. And then like the driveway out of our apartment, like there's like a hill you have to go up, and then like there's literally like two cars on either side of it. So you're like, I'm gonna just barely fit. And if there's a car coming, you're like, I gotta just wait, And then you're on a hill, so it's kind of janky. Sorry, I had a cough. I should have muted that, but I do not have my hands on the keyboard. I couldn't be bothered. Sorry. I'll just apologize. It'll be kind of muffled. I don't know. I got the suppressor on there, so it shouldn't be too loud. I did go pretty far away from the mic, so it should be a little bit quieter. Sorry. I know, like, when I'm listening to it, I'm like, I don't want to hear that, so apologies. It's just that itch in the throat. I was gonna get a drink, and then I was like, nope, got a cough. So, anyways, our street's super busy, and it's okay. I mean, like having the traffic noise and stuff isn't what bothers me, but I don't want it in my stream. So like earlier I was like, oh, motorcycles going by. I was like, man, that sucks because I don't want that in the stream. I don't want that in. So I don't know. I've got a bunch of the sound foam. There's like a piece there, piece wherever that is behind me. There's a couple more pieces that need to go up. I think you can see the ones on the TV box, but they're just kind of there, just trying to dampen some of the noises in the room. I need to put some in that area, and I need to put some on that wall way over there, but it's pretty far. I don't think that's the one to worry about because that's an interior wall. But then I got the windows like right there. So I would like to get something over this to block out sound, like some cardboard with foam on it that I can put up over the window, and then take down when I want the window open because I do want the breeze in here, right? I don't want it to be something that's like a permanent, like I can't get to the window or I can't get the airflow in here because it does get warm in here. When I have the computer on, this room does get warm. But as soon as I open the window, it's like, okay, fresh air. Wow, feel better now. So that's nice that I can do that. And it's midsummer, right? So I can do that pretty much all year, I think, here, which will be great. Like compared to Bakersfield, it's like once it's 110, it's 110, it's 110 everywhere. If you're not AC, you're dead. Like I could never make it in 110. Like I had to have AC when I was there. But here, like soon as the sun sets, man, there'll be a cold breeze that'll come through. It literally like comes through this window really crazy and pulls like my curtain stuff out. Or blows it in really hard. Like it blows it in to where it's almost to the mic here, and this is like a good foot away, right? So it's just blowing this thing over it, right? And it's nice. It's probably gonna knock some like foam off the walls or something because I just have them like tacked like stuck between two tacks, most of them, or like four tacks for some of them. It's definitely just like I'm gonna come in and it's all gonna be laying on the floor because it's got too breezy and too windy in here and stuff. But yeah, I want something that I can put up over that to kind of keep out some of the sound, some soundproofing, some legit soundproofing, not just the foam things. Because the foam things are nice for like keeping out high pitched stuff and squeals and kind of whistles and stuff for my computers and fans and stuff. But it's not enough to keep out like complete ambient noise from a town and stuff. So as we get going with the streaming and stuff, if I get back on track, get to where we're growing things, I will be spending more money on doing some of that stuff slowly. And I have enough tools around the house that I can do mini projects, with a screwdriver and power drill stuff that I can take care of some soundproofing or whatever I have to. I didn't have that before I moved here. Like I had to get the drill to build this desk. Like that was a thing that I was like, I don't have a drill. I've always just relied on having friends and family that had something that I could use before, but now I'm like, I got my own. So that's always a nice feeling knowing that you can do it yourself, or if you can learn to do it yourself, But yeah. Anyways, this has been about 54 minutes is what the timer says for me, so almost 55 minutes. I feel like that's a pretty long IRL talk. I wanted to get caught up with you guys, let you guys know that I am moved. I am working at getting back on schedule. I did lose my City Skylines maps, but I think I have a cloud save. I looked earlier and I have a cloud save still for the stream that I was doing, so we should be able to pick up where we left off. If we did lose anything, it wouldn't be much. I'm not too sure. I haven't checked the game, but hopefully it works. All my mods and stuff are there, and then I'd like to get into some other games soon. Not sure when those will happen, but at some point, would like to do some more stuff with you guys. I'd like to do Terraria or something. I gotta find someone who would like to play with me. I'd also like to do some like Turtle Talks with friends things, and I just haven't figured out which friends actually like to do this kind of stuff. Like I know I have like one friend who I hang out with all the time. I'm not gonna say their name, but they don't like their own voice, and so they don't want to do this. So when I do find a good partner in crime, we'll be going into a discussion about games and stuff probably, and maybe some anime friends if I can get an anime friend or something. I do need to get a job up here because I am amateur at this and not making any money at it right now. Unless it really takes off fast, I'm gonna have to go get a regular job for at least a little bit. And I'm looking. There's like just like 3 blocks away or less. I don't even know if you'd call it blocks because it's like 3 streets over and down. Like a comic book store that I'm like, maybe that's a good place that I could just work, and I'd probably spend half of my paycheck there buying comics. They'd probably appreciate that, and maybe they actually need some people because it's probably a little bit busier in the summertime. So I feel like just because of the location we're at a good place that there's a lot of little shops that I could just work at. And so there's enough places I could apply at, and maybe just get to know some people in the community and stuff, and maybe I'll meet some fellow nerds that want to talk about stuff, and I might bring them on the show for an IRL thing, or might do something that goes to YouTube specifically. It might go to Twitch first, but it'd probably be more for YouTube content, like a sit down and talk with another person kind of thing. I feel like that's harder to do with Twitch unless you want to interact with the chat. I don't have a lot of chat going on. Like today, there's like nothing going on, so that's fine. Probably because this is the first stream in like 3 weeks almost, and the first time I've been online at this time in a long time. And I've almost always done night streams at like 11 p.m. my time, Pacific time. But being on at like 4:30 or whatever I got on today, whoops, I hit the desk. Being on at such an earlier time, like I don't think anyone would have expected me to be on. And so there's been a few people I've seen stop by in the view count, but nobody's saying anything in chat, so probably not anybody I know. So like this will end up on YouTube because the Turtle Talks is obviously what the reason there's no music and stuff is because I want this to go on YouTube. I want to be able to monetize it on YouTube if I ever get to where I can do that with the Turtle Talks things, because this is legit all my content, my opinions, my thoughts, my feelings about things, and story time with Turtle. Who doesn't like story time, right? I've got one of those voices that apparently, I can tell a story and just put people to sleep. So maybe that's the people that want to watch these things. They just want to like have something relaxing and chill, and then I cough and scare the crap out of them. But I've got a good enough voice for radio apparently. So maybe these things will be up on YouTube, and that is part of my legacy. I always feel like legacy on the internet is left behind by the things that you make that can stay up forever. And so some things, like with copywritten music and stuff in the streams, the audio gets cut and the stuff gets edited out, and like you can't have the whole thing there, and the whole experience isn't there later, because sometimes there's just bits and clips of it that are missing or silenced or muted or whatever, right? Where this is legit just me talking, and I can find a partner to do that with, so be it. And if I can find someone who can hit on all the same kind of topics that I would want to talk about, the games, the anime, the comic books, whatever. I mean, I will sit and talk with them about pretty much anything, because I used to do that with my friend Lewis. He didn't want to be, he's like a no internet kind of guy. He's like no Facebook, no nothing. Like he doesn't do that. And so with him, he was one of my real life buddies in Bakersfield. We used to just sit around in the truck, chill, talk. We'd go see a movie and we'd talk about like whatever, the Avengers or comic book stuff, X-Men a lot. How maybe we would have done it better. He always wanted to make movies and stuff, but he doesn't want to get into like YouTube. He wants to make like legit films, right? but like he doesn't want to have people see him or hear him, or he doesn't want people to know his opinions. He wants to like make stuff and then see whether or not it succeeds or fails. Me, I like people hearing my opinions, and I think I have a lot of opinions and I like to give them. So I hope a lot of people would someday like to listen to them. So my legacy on the internet will be someday that I have all of these opinions, and you'll probably get to see the progression of how my opinions changed over the years, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's a unique thing that our generation is one of the first to live in, where like people down 100 years or more from now are going to see these things and be like, what was this guy into? And then they're going to be able to see it, you know? I think for vloggers and bloggers alike, our opinions that get put on the internet and saved on some server are going to at least exist until the internet dies, which who knows? It could be, you know, shortly. It could be EMP or something to blast the earth and then we have no more internet or anything. But it could be quite a while. I mean, we could really be a long, you know, hundreds of years from now. There could be someone watching our videos or like our archived stuff, just going like, what did people do in the early 2000s? When, you know, they want to know what it was like in the 90s. They go listen to the 90s kids that grew up in it and lived in it, you know, the 1990s, not the 2090s, right? Like they may come back and just be like, I want to know what it's like to live then. And we live in a very unique time where we can express those opinions and those thoughts and immortalize them. And I think that's a crazy legacy to have. So maybe I'm thinking more on this than I should, because who knows, maybe my videos will never be anything and maybe they'll all be muted in the future and people will just be like, why is this guy waving his hand so much? And what is all this crazy? Why is there a Doctor Who thing on this? You know, whatever. They're like, what is that? What is Doctor Who? But, you know, at any rate, I'm having fun doing this, and it is, like I said, this is an amateur thing, and it's a hobby for me right now. I'd love to make it more professional, and I'd love to make it better. I'd love to make, I've tried to make the quality well enough that it's at least possible for you guys to enjoy it over the last couple years. I hope that I'm finally at a place, like, at least when I watch the videos, I'm like, I would watch that guy. So I hope that some of you also enjoy watching, and I hope you enjoy, you know, just having someone else's opinions or listening to the random thoughts that come to mind. And if you do, that is the kind of content you can expect in the Turtle Talks vlogs, and that is what you can expect from me sometimes near the end of the shows when I'm doing other stuff too. So anyways, I appreciate everyone that stopped by. I appreciate everyone that can follow the channel, anyone that can do any of the social things on Facebook, on Twitter. I'm at Turtle number 13. And if you can subscribe to my videos on YouTube right now. I'm not really working on growing the YouTube channel. I'm more focused on the Twitch. I want to get the follower count up and the average view count up on Twitch so that I can get it to a affiliate thing right now. So really appreciate any of the follows and any of the things that happen on Twitch right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.